All right. Hello there, every pony, everyone. First of all, thank you so much for tuning in for another video here. I am um, Captain Spitfire, or Master Sergeant Surprise, or King of Canterlot. Again, whatever name you prefer to call me. But I want to thank you all so much for joining in for another Minecraft video. I sincerely apologize that it has taken a little bit longer than what I had anticipated to get this video created. I had another video that I was in the process of recording, and I was halfway through that project when I realized that my recording software had not recorded my last session. So it completely messed that whole project up. So I'm kind of I had to start from scratch with with a new project now. So thanks so much for bearing with me for the wait. Again, it was a bit longer than what I had wanted, but we're making do with what we got. So of course, for this Minecraft episode, as I promised in my city tour, I said that I'll kind of show you how I build stuff. And so that's what we're gonna do. So I will take you into the creative test world, and this is the build that we are going to build in the survival world. So it's a very nice looking build. I'll kind of go over briefly just some different kind of elements and aspects of it. But I'll just take you real quickly kind of around it. Here's the back side of it. And then again, we got the side. And then again, we're back at the front of the build. And then on the inside of the build, we have just some wood. I don't have any stairs yet. I probably will not do anything with the interior for this video. That will probably just get done, off recording. Because that's not as interesting as actually like kind of seeing the build, the exterior, take shape. So real quick, again, some basic kind of elements that a lot of my builds in Ponyville have. So I always usually have kind of like the main like building material. So in this case, it's the stripped acacia logs. That's kind of like the base, main material, right? Additionally, then I have the roof material as well. So in this case, this is smooth, tough blocks. And that's, again, the roof material. And those are kind of like my two main, basic elements of like any build in Ponyville. I'm going to have like the main stuff and then the roof. And then I can also have a third material too. So for this build, I have mangrove logs. And these play the role as like an accent color. They also play the role for some of these other wooden blocks as well. I used mangrove. You don't have, like, I don't always have, like, an accent color for all my builds in Ponyville, but I just thought with how orangey the acacia was that I wanted to kind of balance it out with something a little bit darker. So I think the mangrove does a really good job of helping to balance that out. Let's see. Oh, yes. Of course, then, any good build in Ponyville, I have, window eaves as well. As you can see, I got a few different levels of window eaves. I also use a lot of stained glass. That's very common in a lot of my builds. And also end rods. There's a heavy use of end rods in a lot of my builds that really help to make them, light up at dark and stuff. And they just look really nice. And then there's kind of, again, just some decorative roof elements that are very common for my builds, you know, the window eaves. And then there's always kind of a little stylish flair that a lot of my builds have. So recently it's been sort of building these kind of big kind of like arrows that point up into the sky, that have been sort of the common kind of trendy, you know, fashion design for new buildings in Ponyville to have. And that, of course, changes. You know, it's trendy for a bit, and then it, you know, it might be something else. Yeah, so that's kind of the main elements of any build in Ponyville. Oh yes, and then of course some little kind of underneath the windows as well. So yeah, so that's basically the characteristics of my build. So we're gonna go ahead and get this all measured out here. All right, y'all, welcome back. We are in the survival world now. As you can see, we are back in Ponyville. We are currently, so I'll show you where the build site is at. So we're going to go past the WPCC party headquarters building, kind of on this path, this little side path here, right? And there's the reflection pool, and we're gonna go this direction. I'm gonna go up the stairs, and then the path ends, but we're gonna keep going because our build site is going to be right over here. We got kind of this big, just kind of grassy field, you know, undeveloped, that I think would be a good spot for the new build here. So that is what we're gonna do. So I went ahead and I got all the measurements done. So now we're gonna go ahead and we're going to start getting our ground kind of all laid out here too. All right, as you can see, we have our base outline, outlining where the building will sit here. I'm gonna also go ahead and get our first layer of those spruce planks in as well, so it helps kind of clean up all this inside, you know, grass and dirt and stuff. We'll get that out of there. All right, I went ahead and got the spruce wood floor filled in here. As you can see, this looks a lot nicer already. You can much better clearly see the outline of our new build here. So yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna start going vertical with the walls here now. So all right, let's get started with that. So some interesting lore too for Ponyville while I'm working. I was in the process of actually kind of writing a Minecraft book about the history of the city. I've never finished it though. It's still, you know, unsigned, just sitting in like a chest somewhere. I think somewhere in my storage basement. But I was working on a little kind of a history book like that because I thought it would be really neat. All right. Yes, we're gonna get started with our windows and door placement as well here. And now very often, when I am building stuff, I do tend to flip back and forth a lot between my survival world and my creative world, just to make sure that I'm building everything correctly. So just on the front here, I wanted to make sure that I placed the windows where they're supposed to be. So it looks like we got 2 single panes on the front, we got doubles on the sides, and then 2 single panes in either corner there. And I usually, again, will flip back and forth for all the sides just to make sure that I'm placing them all in the correct areas, because I don't want to mess that up. That stuff is annoying to fix, you know, later on if it's not caught early on like that. So it looks like that the problem actually had to do with this back portion. It looks like, because as you can see, this is one block off from this one. And so what had happened is that the back side here had become misaligned, and it was one block further over than it should have been. So because of that, this back wall has to come down and get moved over one this direction here. Alright, every pony, we got the back facade all fixed up. We got the walls in their correct location. So now, now that that problem was taken care of, we can go ahead and get started with the adding on the second floor here. So we're gonna go ahead and keep going vertical here. All right, we're gonna go ahead and start getting window placement as well. Actually, these are going to be stained glass for the second floor up here. Now that we kind of have all our walls and stuff like that up, of course, on the back here, we're gonna have that big picture window that you saw on the finished build in the creative world. That's where that big window is gonna go. So yeah, so I will check back in a little bit once I have more of the windows up here. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started on the big picture window back here as well. So I'm gonna just jump into our creative file real quick, and I'm gonna take a look at this. I'm actually also going, what I like to do, especially for these big picture windows, is I like to actually take pictures of them on my phone, so then I'm not constantly jumping back and forth between the worlds, especially if the design is kind of a, you know, more complex design or something like that. It just is easier to pull it up on my phone than it is to actually try to be constantly swapping back and forth. So a lot of the stained glass too in Ponyville, as you can probably see with the yellow and magenta colors, they reflect the colors of the national flag of Ponyville, right? There's a lot of magenta and yellow on the flag, and that's what a lot of the stained glass on these kind of big fancy windows reflect, is the national colors of the flag. It's just something that, you know, is I would imagine is kind of the trendy thing to do, especially because it's endorsed by the WPCC as, again, kind of this nationalist, you know, grandeur of having, you know, patriotic national colors, you know, everywhere. So that includes kind of, you know, nice windows, you know, having the colors of the flag in them. Yeah, so that's why I use a lot of like yellow and magenta in my window designs. All right, we got our window design up on our building. Dirt blocks are just temporary. That's going to be replaced by that smooth, tough blocks for our roof, but we're not quite that far along yet. But as you can see, it's a pretty big window that goes up quite a distance there. We're also going to place some torches on the inside, just so we don't have any bats or mobs spawning in. I'm also going to create just a temporary staircase upstairs, just so I have ease of access up there. Alright, we are currently in front of our build. I think what we're going to do is we're going to work on that, the balcony that comes off from the front there. I think that is just a good idea to kind of get done because it is a little, I don't want to say complex is the right word, but you know, it's kind of something that's easier, I think, just to tackle now rather than later. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with that. All right, so we are back in the creative file. I'm just kind of taking a look at the balcony here. So it looks like the balcony comes out right on either side of the doors, and then it's 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks out. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and probably get this built, and I'll check back in once this is kind of nice and polished up here. All right, we are back again. I went ahead and we have the front porch off the building pretty much finished up. We're just missing the couple end rods up there. I'll get those up in the next few minutes here. I think what we're gonna do next is we're gonna start with the roof. I know that there is a third floor to this building too, but I think it will be easier to get this kind of first 2 floors all kind of just wrapped up, and then we can move on to that third floor, which includes, of course, the bell tower as well. But again, I think just kind of finishing the building in phases, I think, makes more sense. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start with getting the roof. We're going to start with kind of that initial little covering over the tops of the second floor windows up there. And then we'll work on all the extra roofing facade that's above the windows on the first floor here as well, along with probably any like exterior lights will get put up on the corners as well. Again, we'll try to wrap up as much of the first 2 floors as we can before we move on to the third floor and the bell tower. So I'm going to go ahead and just get started with that here. All right, so we are back. I went ahead and we got pretty much everything that we needed to get done on these first 2 floors finished up. We got the lighting up. We got the little kind of window shutters put up. Kind of all the, you know, decorational roof facade for the windows are up now. I also went ahead and filled in kind of a low-lying area with some dirt because it was getting a bit annoying. But yeah, I think we are in pretty good shape to move right along here to the third floor. So we're going to just take a kind of a quick look here at what the third floor will kind of look like here, just to make sure that we're going to get the right shape for it. We don't want to mess this up, of course. So it looks like the third floor has this nice big picture window right off the front, and I have those already there. So let's see. That is 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna write this down. Again, I like to write down a lot of my coordinates for stuff, just hopefully prevent any errors occurring. Of course, this is not foolproof, as we saw earlier, where we had to move some walls around because I had miscounted the number of blocks that I needed. Alright, so we are back in the survival world. This probably is going to be a bit of jumping back and forth, just to ensure that the block placement will be correct, because this can get a bit tedious at times, just counting and double counting, just making sure that everything gets placed as it should. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll check back in a little bit then. Alright, so we are back again. I'm in the creative file because I think we're going to start tackling this kind of roof for this third floor. We're gonna do the whole roof, but I think specifically we should start with kind of this back roof over the large window back here. It's a little bit complex, so I'm gonna start. I always kind of like to break it down, so I look for where the different materials are placed, and then I kind of can figure out from there where everything can start. So yeah, so we're gonna I think work on this a little bit here. We'll give this a good shot and try to get this kind of wrapped up, at least for this area here. Alright, so we have this roof all finished up. We got the details put onto it. I also got the ornament up here at the top, all finished up as well. So now that we got kind of the roof over the large window done, what we're going to do is we're going to take, again, same thing that we did with the second floor, is we're going to take the roof, run it along, first along the edges above the windows here, and then we're going to go in and fill in underneath that with the additional roof ornamentation as well. But we're making pretty good progress on this so far, so we're gonna just keep going with it here. Let's just get started on the roof line. All right, we have our roof ornamentation above the window finished. We got the big arrow built, and then we're going to go ahead and continue working on the roof for our third floor. We'll finish the roof up, and then we'll also probably get some flooring and also the windows put in as well. So we're going to go ahead and start working on that now. Alright, I'm just checking the roof ornamentation for the third floor. I was just double checking how to construct these. These window eaves are pretty basic ones. There's not much to these ones. But it's always good just to double check, especially when we got kind of the roof line going in these different directions like this. And also on the back side here, it kind of is a bit different with it going kind of straight up. So I'll probably be flipping back and forth again between the worlds, but I think we'll start with this one here at least. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started on our bell tower now of our new building. So I was just double checking to make sure that essentially I know where to place the tower. Looks like I have to go maybe one more with the tough roof here, because we do have some tough underneath the walls here, it looks like. So I will do that in our survival file here, and then we'll go ahead and get started with the actual tower placement as well. Alright, we got our basic shape put together here. We got our window that will go right in the middle. And we got one of our walls up, so we're going to just, again, kind of copy paste this pattern on all the other remaining 3 sides of the bell tower here. Alright, we're going to go ahead and get our windows placed in. We're also, I think, going to work on getting the lights put up as well. So we'll go ahead and get the lights put up. This should be pretty straightforward. And then our window will get put in here as well. Side, remember, when looking at the tower in the creative, we saw that it was in the colors were inverted on all the sides, or like the sides opposite or next to each other, I should say. So we just have to make sure that we get the windows which placed as they should be, which it looks like that they are. We got this different color on this side, and then we'll have a lighting up just like this. All right. Very nice. Alright, so we're just taking a look right now at the roof for our bell tower. It looks like, again, it follows pretty much the same basic roof structure of the main building itself. So I'm just double checking, making sure I know what stuff to put where. Looks like we got a flipped up block here. Alright. And these go up on top. Alright. We'll probably flip back and forth a little bit, but we're going to go ahead and get started with finishing up the tower, the bell tower here. I would say it's always fun, you know, at the end of my builds, when I'm getting close to the end of my builds here, to really see it starting to come together, you know. It really does start to look, you know, nice and polished. It's such a good, it's satisfying. It's a satisfying feeling to watch it all kind of come together, you know. I just love that. I must say, generally, that having like a creative version file of like the build that you're working on is really, really helpful. Of course, it's not impossible to, you know, freehand stuff in survival, but I will say that building a build first in creative as just like the template is just so much, makes it so much easier to build than in survival, because you know what you're doing and you can actually like jump back and take a look to make sure that, you know, you're placing your blocks where they should be and that you're not off with any measurements. It really is helpful. So it's something that I personally recommend, but again, it's like, you know, to each their own, of course, you know, to each their own. French posts, there we go. Hey, what are you doing? Look at this spider over here. What are you doing? Don't climb my build. Get out of here. So sadly, I have forgotten the bell. So I need to go all the way back down now and grab the bell. All the way back down. Oh, darn it. Where's that bell? Uh-oh. Oof. Talk about lag. Ooh, my connection is really bad today. Wonder why. It's kind of weird. Where did that stupid bell go? There it is. It's improved. That's weird. Connection problems can be a bit funky sometimes. There was one time that I was playing and I must have had a bad connection. And what happened is, this was when I was building the wall for the port. And I had finished the whole wall, and I had, you know, logged off, and I came back then, you know, later to finish some more stuff, and all the progress that I had made was just not there anymore. It literally had, like, deleted itself. Like, all the land was back to how it was, and any trees that I cut down were, like, back to where they were. It was really weird. We've still never had a good explanation for how that happened, but I think it was just something with the server just like not saving my progress. It was really, really weird. That's the only time that's ever happened too. It was really a strange occurrence. I should also say that this is technically, well, it is a vanilla server, but technically there are some plugins that help with like chopping down trees and stuff like that. Let's see. There's like a land claim mod or plugin as well. So it is pretty much vanilla, but there are a few sort of quality of life stuff that we do have running. So yeah. I don't think I said that during my tour video. I'm back on ground level, and as you can see, our bell tower has been topped off. We got the bell installed up there. It is at its full height now. It looks absolutely amazing. So some of the last things that we just have to do in this build now is just put in a few missing window panes and then put up the flags, and then it should be all done, at least exterior wise. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started on that stuff here. Alright, so I was just saying earlier about how nice it is to have a creative file version of the build that you're working on, so you can check just to make sure that you're building it, according to how it's supposed to be built. And I must say, I really do appreciate that, because as you can see, we have this nice magenta window here, and then of course we have the yellow one up on the 3rd floor. And this exists on the other side as well. So remember that, because as you can see, we are missing the magenta window. We have our yellow window, but we completely forgot to construct that magenta window on the 2nd floor. So we're going to have to actually stop and get those windows built before we can proceed with further final decorations, because that is pretty important to have those windows up there. Alright, so I've gone ahead and we got the missing windows placed onto the roof there. So now we can go ahead and get started with the final bit of decoration on the exterior, which is of course putting up the national flag of Ponyville, right? Every build of mine has the flags of Ponyville on them. That's kind of mandated by like the WPCC, is sort of this, nationalist, patriotic. You need to have the, every building needs to be decorated with the flag of the city. So that is what we're going to go ahead and do. All right, we got our flags placed up onto our new build here. So I'm going to go ahead and finish off the interior and also do a little bit more kind of groundwork out here with the grass. And I'll check back in with y'all in a short little bit here. Alright everyone, I went ahead and I got some of the finishing touches put on. I filled in this kind of low-lying area with more dirt so it's level. And then I went ahead, planted a few flowers, but I finished off the inside. So let me take you on the final grand tour here of our brand new build. There's no furniture inside, right? It's just kind of the floor plan, but we got the light fixtures are up. We got the staircases are installed. Got any kind of decorative inside elements installed as well, like the kind of light on the chain up there in the tower. Any kind of crown molding type stuff for the walls and stuff. Again, all the light fixtures are up. Here's the front window, and then here is of course that back window. Got kind of a little balcony. You can look down to the next floor. But yeah, so this is our new build. I think that should be about it. I'll take you on one last kind of exterior shot here. But I want to really thank you all so much for tuning in today and supporting the channel and just watching me have fun building this new build. I hope to have more videos like this. Maybe I'll make a video of kind of initially building a build perhaps in like the creative file. I also really would like to get maybe some video tours of my friends' bases as soon as I can. Of course, they're just a bit busy with their school and stuff. So when the opportunity arises, though, I would like to get some base tours for them as well, since they have some really cool builds as well. But anyways, yes, I want to again just thank you all so much for tuning in today. This is Captain Spitfire, or Master Sergeant Surprise, or King of Canterlot, tuning out. But thank you all so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.